Shalom. Giving our praises, glory, and honors unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the 144,000, the rest of the hopeful elect out there. This is your brother, the priest Zawan from GMS Atlanta. Back with another edifying video. This will be another Motb update, or update to the digital ID, which is a part of the fulfillment of Revelation 13 chapter, buying and selling, all information, paper documents, all different identification will be digital. And that system is being put in place now, which eventually will lead to the Motb, the mark itself, which the mark is a biometric microchip implant. And it's undeniable at this point. What we're seeing being set up now is the image of the beast, a new system, a new way of life, where governments will centralize all their citizen databases through digital platforms. All records, all banking account and financial records will be shifted to digital platforms. As far as money and currency is concerned, these different governments are going to introduce CBDC, central bank digital currencies, and that'll be how people around the world will buy and sell. And you're eventually going to be tempted to take the microchip implant, because the only way you're going to be able to fully interact with society is if you're tied to it. So what they're doing in the states, in different states in the U.S. and other countries around the world, is the governments are shifting toward a digital system. So what I have here is a number of different states and countries, mainly countries, that are setting up their digital ID system. More and more places around the world are doing this. And as I've said many times before, the elites are doing this all at one time. When I say all at one time, I mean within the last year, maybe 2 years, there's been an increase in different countries, especially since the pandemic, the last few years as well. These governments around the world are now piloting digital currency programs, CBDC programs, piloting digital ID platforms, launching government payment apps and things like that, which is setting up for the mark to come. So this is all prophetic. This is all a part of, see this digital shift is a part of prophecy, okay? So before I start, I want to read the book of Daniel, and we have been reading this prophecy here at GMS a lot more frequently now, because this is what's coming to pass. So this is the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. But like I brought out in my last video dealing with the earthquakes and the uproars over there in Serbia, the protests breaking out. When you read 2 Ezra, the 9th chapter, it speaks about the end being manifest. So now that the end is manifest, the words of the book are no longer sealed, they're open. And that's thanks to the sacrifice of Yahushua, what he did going back 2,000 years ago. So now in these last days and in these times, the truth of the Bible is now open, and the prophets of the Israelites, starting with the men of GMS Great Millstone, we're now able to understand what these words in the book are saying, and we're giving you the proper understanding. such as I'm going into now, the prophecy of the mark of the beast, what we call the Motb, which is soon to come. So the book is now open. We're at the time of the end now. It says, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. And with knowledge comes innovation. Okay? Matter of fact, let me look up this word innovation. Innovation. Innovation meaning innovation, which is the access or process of innovating. Come on. Let's see, what is the simple definition of innovation? The introduction of something new, a new idea, method, or device. Is innovation a good thing? Because innovation, whenever you're making something new, that comes with technology and knowledge. Okay?
90.
Because where there's new knowledge and where there's new information, then people begin to invent things. Okay? So you get the basics. Okay, here we go. Innovation, right? The access or process of innovating a new method, idea, product, technological innovations designed to save energy. And that comes from increased knowledge. Okay? That comes from increased knowledge. So with that increased knowledge comes new systems, new ways of life that are designed to make people's life easier, convenience. So what Esau wants to do to this digital system is he wants to make the life of citizens easier by setting up digital IDs, making money digital. But what that does is it puts you in a digital prison, because you're not going to be able to live without it. See, right now we can put the phone down, we can turn off the computers, turn off the television, and we can, go off into another city, pull out cash out of the ATM. We can still eat, buy, purchase, and not be so necessarily distracted by social media and these different smart devices. So we can still have a sense of freedom. But with this digital system that's coming, that's going to be pretty much non-existent unless you're one of the elites. So here it says Iowa MDL, Iowa, which is a state here in the U.S., Iowa MDL, which stands for Mobile Driver's License, from IDEMIA, now supported by Google Wallet. In a number of different states, I believe California, Georgia, I know those two. I think Texas, I think Illinois as well. They've all been introducing mobile driver's license where you can pretty much add your state issue, government issue ID or license to your smartphone and put that in your digital wallet, your smartphone wallet. And that's where you can keep all your your documents, your credentials, which what you once kept in your pocket, maybe in a purse, a wallet. Now you can just keep it on your phone. It's like a one-stop location for everything that you need. And they're going to take that same concept and they're going to put that into the microchip implant. So let's read this. It says, Iowa's digital IDs are coming to Google Wallets. Through the continued collaboration of IDEMIA Public Security and the Iowa Department of Transportation, a video accompanying the announcement depicts the ID scan, selfie biometrics, and liveness check process to load a state ID or mobile driver's license into Google Wallet. support for secure and convenient storage of Iowa mobile IDs. Support for secure and convenient storage of Iowa mobile IDs and Google Wallet complements the Iowa mobile ID app. Okay, they have an app for mobile ID, which has been available for free since it was launched by IDEMIA in October of 2023. See, that's innovation. That's knowledge increasing. That's technology becoming a part of everyday life. And that's just within the last 2 years. Iowa's MDL has also been available in Samsung Wallet and Apple Wallet since last year. Okay, so now they just added it to Google Wallet. So whatever phone company, whatever type of phone you got, whether it's a Google, whether it's a Samsung, Galaxy, iPhone, you're able to add your actual, driver's license card, picture and information. You can add that to the documents in your phone. The digital wallet on your phone. This says the digital ID. So this is a digital ID as far as license, but digital ID will include other things as well. Everything that identifies you will be added to digital ID. They're just starting with your license now. So it says it can be used at TSA checkpoints such as those at Des Moines and Eastern Iowa airports. And we have brothers in GMS out in Des Moines, and they can do videos, confirm this information, because like I said, it ties into the prophecy of the Motb. It says, and at businesses for identity and age verification, because the ESOC wants to be able to verify everyone around the world. So he's setting up a system that can do that. It says there are also new use cases for in-app, online, and in-person identity proofing coming through Google's partner ecosystem, according to the announcement from IDEMIA. Okay, let me read this. It says IDEMIA Public Security also developed the MDL mobile driver's license for several other states, including New York, West Virginia, and Arkansas. So this is another step closer to the Motb. And just as they're setting up this digital ID system for the different states in the U.S. and America, they're doing this around the world. And I've spoken on this country before. This is the Philippines. So this is the latest update. This is from today's date, June 30th, 2025. It says Philippines Digital Government Super App integrates 1,000 services. So they're creating apps that tie in to digital ID and these government systems. So this is coming from the countries around the world. So it says the Philippines has been rolling out its digital national ID and building digital public infrastructures as one of the major proponents of digital transformation in Southeast Asia. And as I've been reading these articles and doing these videos, I've noticed that that's another word, another phrase or buzzword that they speak about here a lot is digital transformation. See, everything isn't digital around the world. Now, we have a lot of digital platforms here in America that makes things a lot more convenient, whether you're going to the airport, whether you're, even when you're going to the grocery store, they have self-checkout. You go to these different cash registers now, they have just these terminals, and you don't swipe your card. I remember you used to just swipe your card, it'll charge a credit card or charge a debit. Then came about the insert the chip, which how long did that last? How long did inserting the chip in your card last? What, maybe 5-6 years? And then now, you just tap it because things are moving quickly. Why? Because knowledge is being increased. Knowledge is being increased, so now you just tap everything. It's going to go from tapping your smartphone or tapping your card to tapping your hand or waving your hand underneath the scanner, and with your if you take the microchip implant, if you take that, then that'll be the way that you buy and sell, which ties into what we call the Motb. So it says the country's rollouts are keenly watched by those in the biometrics, digital identity, development, and DPI sphere as it overcomes various challenges. Right, so they have to make sure that this system that they're creating is streamlined. Okay? The archipelagic country, or the archipelagic, right, because it's an archipelago country of 118 million people remains a developing one with some populations that are remote and underserved. That means those in far off rural areas, maybe villages, they might be primitive. It says with a significant portion being unbanked and without ID, and that's another word, unbanked. So if you're poor in a village, you might not have running water. You might just use wells. Oh, if you're over there in these Southeast Asian countries, they want to give you a banking account and they want to give you an ID, but they're going to do it digitally because it'll be a lot more easy and a lot more more convenient. It'll be a lot more easier and a lot more convenient for the government to be able to identify you based on the digital system. Okay? So now let me get the scripture here, which is, this is the most famous scripture that GMS brings out. Or this is one of the most popular scriptures that we bring out recently. Okay, what happened? Revelation 13:16. And I'll get straight to the point. Here we go. Revelation 13:16. And he causeth all, both small and great. So if you're small, if small population, I'm sorry, if you're poor, well, that's the same thing, rich and poor, small and great, small in status, right? But then you have the great, the celebrities, okay? Matter of fact, let me look that up. Let's look up what the word small means, because this is dealing with people. Yeah, Bishop Nate, saying small nations, great nations. It's not talking about nations, it's talking about people. So bear with me 1 second. Let me find the word for small. Small, micros. The Greek word micros. Which means small, little, of size, hence of stature, of length, of space. Here we go, of rank or influence. So whether you're, so your status in society, okay? So these 9 to 5 regular individuals that punch a time clock, you work overtime to make ends meet, they're also going to, cause you to receive the Motb. And then you have the Greek word megas, which means great. Which is the same thing. Predicted of rank as belonging to persons, eminent for ability, virtue, authority, power, things esteemed highly for their importance, of great moment, of great weight, importance. Yeah, so the VIPs, okay, the VIPs, the very important people, your celebrities, your influencers, they're also going to have to get the Motb. All right, those 9 to 5, it says rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So it's not going to matter if you're on the fringes of society, right, where it says here, the archipelagic country of 118 million people, and it's speaking on the Philippines still, remains a developing one with some populations, and that's what I kind of slipped up and said populations. All right, but that's what it says here. Some populations, which are what? Made up of people, all right, that are remote, okay, of a smaller status. They're not rich. They're not great. They're small as far as rank in society, and underserved, with a significant portion being unbanked and without ID. So what are they going to do? They're going to set them up with a digital ID and offer them these different government services. So it says the Philippines is celebrating milestones in its ongoing journey. The eGov PH mobile app, a so-called super app, and I've spoken on the super app before. They're doing one in another country. I believe it's out of Europe. They're also developing the super app. So now they're doing it here in the Philippines and Asia. It says it has now integrated more than 1,000 government systems to streamline services. Right. They want, before they introduce the Motb, they're bringing the system online, the digital ID system, and everything that they're going to utilize, that you utilize now, they want to make it more convenient, and they want all the systems to interact and operate together, which is what they call interoperability, and they want it to be a streamlined system. Okay, because the elites, what they want to do is they want to be able to eat. You know, they want to be able to have control and achieve their New World Order agenda. Okay, so let me read this precept that just came to mind. I believe it's Job 20. Okay, let me see if it's here. This is Job 20. And this is good because it goes into the judgment on these rich banking families of Esau. Okay, here we go. So this is Job chapter 20 and 22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And this is talking about the workers. When you look up this word in the Hebrew for wicked here, in the English, the word for wicked, which is aimal. Let's see what it's talking about. It's talking about the laborers, the sufferers, the wretched ones, the workmen. So the workmen, the people that work in this society, that are oppressed. You see all these different. Last fall you had them dock strikes. Okay, we got other worker strikes around the country, around the world. You got the farmer strikes over there in Europe, protesting. So it says that the hand of the workman shall come upon him. Because the elites have been doing what? They've been oppressing the people. And who have they oppressed the most? Jake. Okay? So Jake is going to tend to these elites when that time comes. Okay? The elect. All right, verse 23. When he is about, and when it says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits, meaning when he's about to achieve his New World Order, he's going to have to fight to try to achieve it. Because a lot of people, as Apostle Hall always brings out, a lot of people, even in Christianity, they know and believe that the Motb is an implant, and they're going to protest and they're going to come against it. I did a video maybe about 2 weeks back that you have different states that are trying to put certain bills and laws in place so the microchip won't be enforced in the workplace. So if it wasn't a thing, like Bishop Nathaniel says, they do have Elon Musk does have a microchip, but that's not what the prophecy of the Motb is talking about. I did the video yesterday and mentioned about Deacon Ayathan said they do have chips to put in their hand, but that's not the Motb. Well, they got the technology. So if they didn't plan on putting it in people, right, which you can use this technology to buy and sell, why is there state legislation and bills on the books in different states around the country here in the U.S. to ban it in the workplace, and to ban it from being made mandatory? Because they know it's coming. They know that this technology is coming. And I did also a video on where this one woman, she did research and found out that getting the implant in your hand or in your body, really, they experimented in animals and rats, and they got tumors. They developed cancer. So when you read in the prophecy in Revelation the 16th chapter, it says that a grievous sore came upon the people. That grievous sore is going to appear on those that took the Motb. Just like, for example, allegedly, people that took the jump shot, what happened to them? They started to drop dead. So there's going to be a consequence for putting these foreign objects in your body. And since you got Israelites that want to harp on the law so much, keeping the law, well, what we're telling you here at GMS is to not take the implant, because that's the Motb, and it's also a breaking of the law. And when you read Revelation 14:12, I'm not going to get it, but when you read Revelation 14:12, it speaks about keeping the commandments and having the faith in Yahweh. And keeping the commandments, one of the commandments is to not cut into the flesh. And that's what this charagma, this Motb, this mark, is going to do. So you got people that believe here in America, some are Christians, some are not. You got Israelites like GMS. We know that it's the Motb. We're not going to take it. You got Christians that are going to protest it. They're not going to take it. So it says that they shall be in straits. And then you're going to have war. World War III going on. So all this is prophecy. Let me read verse 23. It says, when he is about to fill his belly, right, when Esau has streamlined the digital ID system, and he has the majority of the world with the Motb in him, because I got to look up how long it took for them to, because I believe billions of people around the world, when you add it all up, they took the jump shot, because that was like a test run. So when you look at what's coming with the Motb, that's them filling their belly, okay? That's them being feeling that they're being secure in their agenda. So it says, when he is about to fulfill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So just when they think that they're about to chip everybody and they done persecuted the Israelites, and that digital ID system and that digital currency is being transacted here and there, to and fro, and they got the people in a digital prison, that's when the Lord is going to launch these nuclear missiles and destroy them. Oh, and by the way, you got Israelites that say that the missiles are not in the Bible. I'm gonna bring it out. I'm gonna bring it out, but the missiles is found in the Bible, and I'm gonna prove it. But I'm gonna finish this. So it says, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. And that's speaking on the nuclear missiles being launched to destroy Babylon the Great and ultimately Esau's system, and also the land of Palestine. But the land of Palestine, or what's also known as the land of Israel, will be rebuilt by the true Brews. It says the darkness shall be hid in its, all darkness shall be hid in its secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. That's the nuclear destruction. It shall destroy Esau's kingdom. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. So now let's go back here. I mentioned the Philippines. Okay, let me finish this out. So it says the Philippines is celebrating milestones in its ongoing journey. The eGov PH mobile app, a so-called super app, has now integrated more than 1,000 government systems to streamline services. So this and the Motb will be a system all around the planet Earth. Okay? So the elites, they're gonna feel like when everything is streamlined, that's them eating, because they're finally gonna live off of the fruit of their labor, which is achieving a new world order, but the Lord's gonna stop them via nuclear destruction. It says the One Stop, and I mentioned that, the One Stop Everything app, right? The One Stop online system is designed to strengthen the delivery of key government services. And best believe that they're going to do the same thing here in the U.S. It says, create a more business-friendly environment and enhance bureaucratic efficiency. And as I was saying before, all these different governments, all these countries around the world were given the memo by the elites to start this program in their countries. And they're all doing it around the same time within the last few years and coming up in the future to shift over to a digital system. It says the eGov app integrates the national ID. So it's going to be an integration of everything. It integrates the national ID, senior citizens ID, right? Old and young, old people, Professional Regulation Commission ID, e-health ID, right? So dealing with the medical information, and overseas Filipino workers ID, among others. And this is just in the Philippines, but this is the Asian countries, China, the Philippines, I believe Taiwan, Thailand, all these countries in Asia are going to be like a blueprint to the Motb system. And they're going to introduce the microchip, and that's going to be a blueprint. And they're going to introduce it over here in the West via the Beast, which is NATO and the EU, and in America. And once they start putting this device in the hands and the minds of the people, that's when things are going to speed up. World War III will culminate in nuclear destruction. Then Yahweh Shah will return, destroy the kingdom of the heathens and deliver the elect. And then we'll be out of here. See, we're close. We're close to the end of this wicked world and this wicked system. We just, like Yahweh Shah said, got to be patient. Okay, be patient. Revelation 3:10. And the Lord will keep us from the hour of temptation. Be patient. That's a lesson. Be patient, and the Lord will keep you from the hour of temptation. Okay, I gotta write that down. So it says those using the app can access the Social Security system, government service insurance system, Philippine Health Insurance Corps, PAG, IBIG Fund, among other government agencies. So, and then listen to this. People need to feel that government is working for them, he said via Phil Starr. And this is coming from, let's see, okay, Undersecretary David Amaral, as you can see here at the top. It says that means faster service, 0 lines, and more transparency. So they're selling you, the people, convenience. Yeah, hey, register into the digital ID system, and everything will be at your convenience. Then eventually they're going to be, take the implant, and everything will continue to be at your convenience. That's why when you read the prophecy in Revelation 13, what does it say? It says that you won't be able to buy or sell without it. Revelation 13:17. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And here at GMS, we've broken this down right 1,000 times. Okay? As you can hear, listen to the IUIC in their videos from Bishop Nathaniel on down. They're catching up. They got to play catch up with this prophecy. You know, because we're doing so many videos on it. I've done videos exposing them for being hypocrites, telling you, you know, using the tools to show you that GMS is right, going to the precepts, information, chat, GPT, video, receipts, and all of that, showing you that GMS is right, IUIC is wrong, and how they're trying to add in the digital system information to their breakdown of the mark of the beast. But they're not telling you the whole 100% truth by telling you that the mark is the implant. But, you know, we believe that they sold out, you know, that they can you know, speak a little bit on it now, but they can't fully come out with it. Lest they repent, and like Apostle Hall like to say, unless the Bishop Nathaniel grows a backbone and he starts to teach it, and his other men teach it. Because the Deacon Malachi, he speaks on it. He speaks very eloquently about the digital system, but they'll never say that the actual mark is something physical. That's what I went into too, that the Motb is physical. It's a physical thing, okay? So let me finish this out. I want to get into some more. So this is out of Libya in Africa. It says, Libyan firm wins Niger biometric passport national ID contract. Libyan firm wins Niger biometric passport national ID contract. So I'll just read a little bit of this and go to the next one. I just want to show you these different countries. So you got Iowa State out of here in the U.S. Okay, they're setting up their digital ID system. I just went into the Philippines. They're setting up their digital ID system and government super app. Okay, and then now here in Libya, they're setting up the digital system for Niger. So here it says Libyan biometric solutions provider Al Ittisan Al Jadid has been contracted to oversee an upgrade of the passport and national ID systems of the Republic of Niger. Okay, let's see, where is the Republic of Niger? The Republic of Niger, West Africa. Who's in West Africa? You got Israelites in West Africa. You also got Hamites there, but you have a lot of Israelites that are over there still in Africa. And by the way, we did come over to America on slave ships. All right, there's 100% proof that slave ships exist. You know, you got Israelites. When I say Israelites, I mean Jake. You know, you got so-called blacks, foundational black Americans, and Pan-Africans, Egyptologists, black conscious Negroes saying that we never came on slave ships. We were always here in America. Well, if you want to say we were here, well, then we're Israelites. But the particular tribe that was here in America were the tribe of Gad. Now, if you want to get deep, yes, there were members of the Southern Kingdom, which are the so-called African American tribes, whether they be from the Caribbean, Haiti, whether it be from the Caribbean like Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, Virgin Islands, so forth. They also mingled amongst those Native American tribes, even in slavery. Okay, you had a lot of slaves that escaped and went down into the Creek territory and intermingled and married within the Seminole Indian tribes. Okay, and their families. Okay, you have a heavy so-called black African slave, which is, that's Jake, Israelite, Southern Kingdom presence in Mexico. Look up Guerrero, Mexico. But see, you Negroes here in America, you're not deep. You have some information, but you're not privy to the whole truth, because the Lord, God himself, is not dealing with you. Yahweh Shem Shah is not dealing with you in your knowledge. Ever learning but not able to come to the knowledge of the truth. And GMS has 100% truth. Okay, out of all the groups on the planet Earth, religious, political, scientific, or otherwise, the top group as a pillar of knowledge and information is Great Millstone. We're the prophets, and the prophets is the highest office underneath the Heavenly Father. Okay? So here, dealing with Niger, it says Libyan biometric solutions provider Al-Ittisan Al-Jadid has been contracted to oversee an upgrade of the passport and national ID systems of the Republic of Niger. Documents finalizing the Public-Private Partnership Framework Agreement, PPP, but it's not talking about PPP loans. The framework agreement was signed June 27th in the Nigerian capital, Niamey, by, Nigerian, not Nigerian, but Nigerian capital, Niamey, by representatives of both entities. So Libya is helping Niger set up a digital ID system. So it says the Post mentions that the first memorandum has to do with the financing, construction, and maintenance of a biometric passport system, while the second concerns an upgrade of the country's national ID architecture by introducing a secure national digital ID. The passport, the partners say, will be produced using polycarbonate materials embedded with biometric chips. So they're putting it in the passport, the physical passports. The contractor is also expected to build a system for the digital archiving of records, because all your records will be on your digital ID, which eventually they're going to put that chip in your body. It says Niger's government states that the move aims to put in place a system that will streamline, here's that word again, streamline, the delivery of passports and national digital ID cards. Okay, the next step from the card is eventually they're going to, I should say, the card is a step closer to the Motb implant, because they also got QR codes and other ways to tap into that system. It says, and also bring the country up to speed. Why? Because their population, their people, you got small and great people there, rich and poor people there. It says, and also bring the country up to speed with others that already have modern and expedient systems in delivering these important identity documents. So they're getting away from the paper documents and trying to sign everyone up manually. They want to set up a digital ID system, and the country of Libya is helping the country of Niger do that. Okay? And I've gone into this before. The ID for Africa summit that they have that goes into digital ID for all these countries, they're setting it all up to eventually introduce the Motb biometric digital implant. So here's another African country, Cameroon, unveils upgraded digital procurement system with $12 million Korean grant. Okay? Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the Korean grant comes from South Korea. Because if it comes from South Korea, the ones behind that is Esau. Because Esau got a heavy hand in South Korea behind the scenes. And that's what these elite do. See, they use front companies and front organizations like WorldCoin, the IMF, and others to fund these global projects in these countries around the world. So now let's see. So here it says, the government of Cameroon has launched an upgraded version of a digital procurement system dubbed COLETS. Public Contracts Minister Ibrahim Talibamala recently presided over the launching ceremony of the platforms whose setting up had grant funding from the Korea International Cooperation Agency to the tune of $12.5 million. Okay, so it doesn't say whether it was... Well, I know, well, they don't... Okay, you know what? Let me look this up. Korea International Cooperation Agency. So it should come out of South Korea, because they don't do deals with North Korea. Let's see, Korea International Cooperation Agency. Yep, South Korea. The Korea International Cooperation Agency was established in 1991 by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of South Korea. South Korea is a more globally interactive than North Korea. Okay, they're more friendly with the other countries around the world and the U.S. Okay. It says a governmental organization for official development assistance. So they're helping to develop Cameroon. Okay? So let's read a little bit more. It says COLEPS is an acronym for Cameroon Online E-Procurement System. Speaking in the event, Mala said the upgrade to the COLEPS platform makes online contract signing and real-time monitoring now possible as part of efforts by the government to improve transparency in the country's procurement system. Real-time monitoring means that the system will be integrated with banks and financial institutions for bid securities and performance guarantees to be verified via an automated mechanism. Mala said it will also act as a one-stop shop aimed at boosting efficiency and service delivery while curbing corruption and reducing costs in contract bidding and award processes. And one of the major selling points for these countries to get involved into the digital ID, what they're saying is when they go to these meetings, is that to reduce fraud, to reduce fraud and corruption in these different countries, shift over to the digital ID system. Everyone will be verified. The government will have verified digital systems. They will all interoperate among each other, the different services, and you can offer your citizens a better and safer country. Because it says you won't be able to buy and sell without the Motb, but that Motb has to be tied to a system that these governments will introduce to their citizens. Okay? It says here, other African countries like Ethiopia, and I'm down here at the bottom, are also strengthening their digital procurement systems for greater efficiency by linking them with national digital ID. It all goes hand in hand. These countries are getting funded by the elites through other countries and other agencies, okay? Because who owns the money? Esau, Edom. They run the money system, the financial system, the banking system, central banking system. But they use these countries and agencies, the World Bank, IMF, and others to pull these other nations into their system. Okay? Remember, the scripture says that they heap into themselves all people. What was that, Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter? Okay? I'm not going to get it. You can read it yourself. Just go to Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, and you can start at the top. And it tells you how The just shall live by his faith, but he that is upright. Well, not. It talks about debt. You know what? Let me just get it. Let me just get it. I'm trying to move quick. I'm trying not to have to segue too much. But I'll go to the scriptures. And this also deals with the prophecies to come to pass, which, the prophecy that I'm speaking about now was the prophecy of the mark of the beast. All right, Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. The prophecy of the Motb is definitely speaking. And we're speaking it here at GMS through these videos and prophesying about it coming. Because it will come. It says, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it. So that means whoever is speaking about the vision, which vision is another word for prophecy, whoever's speaking on the visions, the prophecies, they're not going to lie about it. So that's why we here at GMS, we say we have 100% truth, because that's us, that's just really the Spirit letting you know that the Lord is setting up his words to not lie to you. We're just vessels. Okay? It says, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Okay? And this is what I was just speaking on. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. And that's talking about Esau. He's lifted up, he's in the power seat, he's ruling the earth right now, but he's not upright. He has a deceiving agenda. A deceiving agenda to microchip the people, put everyone in a digital prison, and he's trying to usurp the birthright back from Jacob. But as it says here, the just, who's the just? The just is Jacob. Another name for Jacob are the Israelites, which are the elect. But the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also, because he transgresses by wine, who? The soul that's not upright, the wicked, the evil man. He is a proud man, and wine is his philosophies. His philosophies has made him proud because it's made him rich. Neither keepeth at home. And what nation of people, what race of people never keeps at home? The so-called white man and his people, who enlargeth his desire as hell. Now you have so-called white people, all right, that are Israelites based upon the bloodline of their father, which look like Edomites, because Edomites are so-called white people. But you have Israelites and other nations that look like them as well, because there's been a mingling among the nations over time. Okay? But the Edomite is the proud man, that's the wicked, which is the so-called white man and his people, once again, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And that's what we're seeing being done now. When you look at these different countries, and you're looking at these different digital national ID systems being set up, that's all really Esau using his agencies, his proxies, proxy funding companies and agencies to set these countries around the world and these people around the world to heap them to himself so he can rule over them and control them, but in wickedness, in evil. Okay? But like I read in Job, the Lord is going to destroy them with that nuclear fire. Okay? And then we have this here. This is the last one. The DRC pass. Digital ID launches as DR Congo, which is the Democratic Republic of Congo, finalizes contract with Trident. With Trident. And when you think of Trident, you think of a three-pronged fork. What they say, who holds the three-pronged fork? That's a symbol of the devil. And who's the devil? Esau. Okay, but the image of a red devil doesn't exist. There is no red devil under the earth ruling over a eternal hell. Okay, the red devil that exists is talking about these Edomites, these so-called white people. They're really red because their blood vessels and their blood shows forth through their skin. Okay, when they blush, they turn red. When they're happy, they're red. When they're sad, they're red. Or they're sad, they're blue. We talk about colored people. Anyway, so this is dealing with the Democratic Republic of Congo, and they're now setting up their digital ID system. Like I said, all these countries around the world are setting these things up. But it's based upon Esau trying to achieve his New World Order agenda, his scheme. It says the government of the Democratic Republic of Congo, another African country, has signed the final public-private partnership, PPP, again, agreement with Singaporean firm. So they're using these Asian countries, South Korea, Singapore. Singapore has heavy ties with America, right, as an ally. Okay, you get a lot of products too, a lot of technology that is also made, not just made in China, but also made in Singapore. That's why during the Biden administration, there was a big thing about them controlling the creation of computer chips and other microchip technologies out there in the South Asia and South China Sea, because they're the ones that do all the work. They do all the work in the development on that technology. Okay, and Singapore is one of those countries. So it says, with Singaporean firm Trident marking the launch of the Central African nation's new national digital ID program. You have to ask yourself, why are all these states and countries around the world, why are they setting up a digital ID system? What is that leading up to? You got to put your thinking caps on. And when it comes to the Israelites, you got to go into the Bible and you have to put on your spiritual caps, put on your spiritual eye salve, and think about what these different groups are telling you about the future of buying and selling in technology. GMS is telling you that is leading up to the mark of the beast, which is the microchip implant. Bishop Nathaniel in the IUIC is telling you that it's sin in all its forms. But it doesn't add up to what's really going on. But now they're speaking on digital ID in their breakdowns. And Bishop Nathaniel mentioned about the advancement of technology in Elon Musk. And he mentioned about the brain chip, but he said that's not really what the mark of the beast prophecy is talking about. I did the video on the Deaconiah Thun. He mentioned about the chip in the hand. He said, but that's not what the mark of the beast is talking about, because they can't prove to you it's not. They're just telling you it's not because they think that they have a better explanation for it, and it doesn't line up to what reality is saying. It doesn't line up to the scriptures. And I mentioned that in one of my lessons yesterday, the lesson I did yesterday. It mentioned about, in the chat GPT, about the realities. It mentioned about the economic and political realities of the implication of the microchip technology, which GMS is correct about, breaking down the prophecy of the mark of the beast. It's clear, but you got Israelites that can't see it, and the Lord blinded them, okay? Because the Lord only wants his chosen elect to see the whole truth anyway. But you got to rebuke the wicked, those that we believe sold out, and those that can't see. We got to rebuke the false prophets and the blind leading the blind. And the majority of the members in the IUIC, IGBK, and you other Israelite groups that don't teach what GMS teaches, when it comes to these prophecies and the Motb, you're blinded. And you're going to fall into a ditch, and that ditch is America. That ditch, that valley, that lake of fire, that's America. It's not some river in Basra in the land of Edom somewhere towards the plains of Megiddo, like Genesis says. Deacon Nakai and Brother Assad, and those guys are bugging out, with their doctrine. All of y'all are going to be destroyed here in America as a part of the 2/3. Lest you repent, lest the Lord just wakes you up and you're the elect. But as of right now, you're going down the wrong path. And we're trying to correct you, but you ain't listening. But Israelites are, hard-headed. So I'm going to finish this out. It says, in an announcement, Trident said the finalization of the contract agreement opens the door for a phased implementation of DRC Pass, a national digital ID system that seeks to enhance access to a wide range of government and private sector services. So it's called the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo Pass, and it's going to be tied into the digital ID, which eventually will be tied into the digital wallet and the biometric digital microchip implant. So with that, I'm going to close out. I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give our praises, our glory, our honors unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakadash, Shalom.